Hey guys, this is Sergeant Phoenix back in the action, and today this is a kind of a new deck profile because a friend of mine who she's just started dueling, and she wanted me to do a deck profile on a Dark Magician deck that she's built. So it is mostly built on Dark Magicians, but it's like one of every, but she's only put in like one of every card she's told me. And she said she wanted me to do this one to like profile it myself and see what it's like. I haven't actually looked at the deck yet, so what it is will be interesting to me. A few of my friends have asked me to do these requests for them, and I decided why not, because I'm still working on more decks for more profiles. I'm working on a Knight of Hanoi, Vectors, Mech Lords, a bit, and I do have another practice deck a friend of mine made, using that starter deck of links. So I'll do a deck profile on that as well. So this deck. So first is Dark Magician. It doesn't have any effects since it's a normal monster, but it does say on its title, the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense. And it's not wrong. And in history of Yu-Gi-Oh, this card is practically Yugi's ace. Dark Magician Girl. This one does have an effect. It gains 300 attack for every Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in your graveyard. Okay, Dark Magician of Chaos, and this is actually a really good one. It's one of the greatest spellcasters I've seen. One of them. There are a lot more powerful ones, but this is one of the greatest ones you see from design and abilities. So during the end phase, if this card was normal or special summoned this turn, you can target one spell card in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and you can only use this effect once per turn. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, after damage calculation, banish that opponent's monster. So it banishes them instead of destroying. And if this card would leave the field, you banish it instead. Okay, so she has 2 Magician Robe. And this card's effect, during the opponent's turn, quick effect, you can discard one spell or trap, special summon one Dark Magician from your deck. During your opponent's turn, if you were to activate a spell or trap card or effect while this card's in your graveyard, except during damage step, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use the effect of this once per turn. Okay, so she added 2 of them. Maybe 3 would have been, and she's done the same with Magician's Rod. 3 of them would have been better. Maybe 3 of them would have worked. So let's see what she's done. She's added like some old magicians with the new magician support. Okay. Magician's Rod. 2 of these, as I've said. When this card is normal summon, you can add one spell or trap card from your deck to your hand that specifically lists Dark Magician in its text. So it's like, let's say, Dark Magic Curtain, which will most likely be in this deck if it's Dark Magician base. Pay half your life points, special summon Dark Magician from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So you could have that. During your opponent's turn, if you activate a spell or trap card effect while this card is in your graveyard, except during damage step, you can contribute one spellcaster, add this card to your hand, and you can only use this effect once per turn. Okay. 2 Break of the Magical Warriors, one of them's shiny, one of them's not. When this card is normal summon, place 1 spell counter on it, max 1. It gains 300 attack for each spell counter on it, and you can remove 1 spell counter from this card, then target 1 spell or trap card on the field, destroy that target. Skilled Dark Magician. And okay, I was thinking this one as well. Each time a spell card is activated, place 1 spell counter on this card. When that spell resolves, max 3, so it can only have up to 3 spell counters. And its effect, which I already know, if you tribute this card with all 3, if it has 3 counters on it, you can special summon Dark Magician from your hand, deck, or graveyard. I think Yugi has only ever used that skilled Dark Magician once in his history of dueling. It was against that when they had season 5 when they had that like world tournament thing, and his opponent got kicked out. Okay, Blast Magician. Each time a spell card is activated, place 1 spell counter on this card. When that spell card resolves, you can remove any number of spell counters from this card, then target one face-up monster on the field with attack less than or equal to the number of counters you've removed, x 700. So if I had 5 of these, that totals 3,500. I could destroy, let's say, I could destroy a Blue Eyes White Dragon if it was on the field. Next we have Apprenticed Illusion Magician. Okay, this card I know as well, so it's a good one. Meaning you can special summon this card from your hand by discarding one card. If this card is a normal special summon, you can add one Dark Magician card from your deck. Add one Dark Magician from your deck to your hand. During damage calculation, if your other Dark Spellcaster battles an opponent's monster quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard. That monster you control gains 2,000 attack and defense during the damage step only. So let's say, if your opponent uses a monster with 4,000 attack points and your Dark Magician's in events mode, you can pretty much stop. You can use that effect and your monster's not destroying, your opponent will take 100. Old Vindictive Magician. This is an old one as well. It's a flip one and it's like Man-Eater Bug. You target one monster on the field, one monster your opponent controls and destroy that target. Like Man-Eater Bug does, it destroys one creature as soon as it's flipped up. Magician's Valkyrie. She only has one. 2 of these would have been better. Your opponent cannot target face-up spellcaster type monsters for attacks except this one. If she had 2 of these, it would actually work perfectly. Because then her opponent would not be able to attack her whatsoever. But other than that, it is a good card to have. If you can get ways to power it up, if you have though got cards to power it up and everything, it's a good card to use. Next, I've never seen this one before. Magician Exemplar. Each time a spell counter is activated, place 2 spell counters on this card. When that spell resolves, once per turn you can remove any number of spell counters from this card, special summon one spellcaster monster from your hand or deck, whose level equal to the... Okay, so you could use that with Dark Magician. Okay, this one I do know. Mythical Beast Cerberus. I can't say its name. Cerberus. Each time a spell card is activated, place 1 spell counter on this card. After that spell card resolves, this card gains 500 attack for each spell counter on it. If damage calculation is conducted involving this card, remove all spell counters from it at the end of the battle phase. So all 4 of them would give it... So having 4 counters, that would give it 3,400. Karibo. I can see why she has this one. In case she lost everything for direct attacks. If your opponent's turn at damage calculation, you can discard this card. Take no battle damage. This is a quick effect. So if my opponent wants to just damage me directly, I'll discard this and just stop that damage. Marshmallow. Interesting. And this is a good one. A lot of people who use like defense decks use this one, and there's a reason why. This is an alright one for a starter, because after damage calculation, if this card was attacked and it was face down at the start of that attack, and it says damage stat, but so if I have it there, my opponent attacks it, it stays like that, and your opponent will take 1,000 points of damage, and it can't. And the reason it's good for defense because it can't be destroyed in battle. Dark Resignator, a tuner. Interesting why she has this in the deck. The first time, and this card, it can't be destroyed by battle once per turn. The first time it would be destroyed in battle, it's not. Spells, Dark Magic Attack. If you control Dark Magician, destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. Dark Magic Curtain. Pay half your life points, special summon 1 Dark Magician from your deck. You cannot summon other monsters the turn you activate this card. Diffusion Wave Motion. Pay 1,000 life points, then target 1 level 7 or higher spellcaster monster you control. This turn, only that monster can attack, and it must attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. The effect the effects of effect monsters destroyed by these attacks do not activate and are negated. And that's another old, and most of these are quite old. Magic Formula. I was hoping she put this one in the deck, Because with this one, it equips to Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, and that monster will gain 700 attack points. And when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, gain 1000 life points. I was hoping she put that one in. Next we have Dedication through Light and Darkness. And this is a quick effect, and this lets you tribute Dark Magician as special summon Dark Magician of Chaos from your hand, deck, or graveyard. And that's from the GX season when Dimitri took the replica of I think it don't know if it was exact. I think it was Yugi's exact deck, but some other cards were added into it. So most likely it was. I think it was after maybe Yugi retired in that era. I can't remember GX's exact history with Yugi and the other protagonists. Dark Magician Circle. When this card is activated, look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. When this card reveal one, then you can reveal one Dark Magician or spell card that specialized lists as Dark Magician in the text among them. Your deck in any order. In text among them. And add it to your hand. Also place the remaining cards on top of your deck in any order. If Dark Magician is normal or special summoned on the field, except during the damage step, you can target one card your opponent controls, banish it. You can only use the effect of this card once per turn. And again, another good card. Mage Power. Okay, this is right. If you have all these traps and spells out on the field, the equipped monster will gain 500 attack and defense for each spell or trap card you control. Double Spell. Discard one spell card, then target one spell card in your opponent's graveyard. Place that target in the appropriate zone on your opponent's side of the field, and as this card's effect resolution, follow its card text, and if you had used it yourself. So technically, I do it as it says, but this card will become that card. So if let's say I target Monster Reborn in my opponent's graveyard, then this card becomes Monster Reborn. Next we have Magicians Unite. And this was used in the very last episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! With Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl. Reason being, if you control 2 or more attack position spellcaster type monsters, target one of them, its attack becomes 3000 till the end phase. But other spellcasters you control cannot attack this turn. Magical Dimension. And this is original as well. If you control a spellcaster type monster, target one monster you control, tribute that target, then special summon one spellcaster type monster from your hand. Then you can destroy one monster on the field. That's an original as well. That was used against Merrick. And it was also used in the movie as well, remember. Illusion Magic, this is a new one. Tribute one spellcaster monster, add up to 2 copies of Dark Magician from your deck, hand, or graveyard to your hand. You can only activate one Illusion Magician per turn. Okay. So I can see why she wanted me to have a profile on this deck. Dark Magic Inheritance. Banish 2 spells from your graveyard, add 1 spell or trap from your deck to your hand. That specifically lists Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl in its text, except this one. And you can only activate this once per turn. Dark Magic Expanded. Apply these effects in sequence based on the number of Dark Magician and or Dark Magician Girl on the field and in the graveyard. So the first one, if you have one Dark Spellcaster monster on the field, gains 1000 attack until the end of the turn. The second, if you have 2, this turn your opponent cannot activate card and effects in response to your spell or trap cards. Effects. Also, spell or trap cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. 3. Dark Spellcaster monsters you currently control are unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of this turn. Okay. Monster Reincarnation. And this would work with the Dark Magicians. Reason being, you discard one card, target one monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Book of Moon. Target one monster on the field and place it face down. A good card unless you're fighting against an army of lynx, so because lynx do not have defense, so it's practically useless. So we're on traps, Dark Horizon from the movie, and really nice condition, I must say. When you take battle or effect damage, special summon one dark spellcaster type monster from your deck with attack less than or equal to the damage you took. Dark Renewal. When your opponent's normal or special summon a monster or sters, target one of those monsters and one spellcaster type monster you control. Send both monsters to the graveyard, then you can special summon one Dark Magician from your deck or graveyard. That's from the original as well. Originally, another Dark Magician used called Arcana used it against Yugioh, and he had 3 copies of his like evil art style of Dark Magician, and I have that art style because I've managed to get one of every Dark Magician style, you know, when they've changed the art. Next we have Eternal Soul. I like the design of this, and the reason being that I like the design of it is because it's actually the very same one that we see on Season 5 when Dark Magician is actually created as a Shadow Beast for the Pharaoh. And its effect, every Dark Magician in your monster zone is unaffected by your opponent's card effects. If this face-up card leaves the field, destroy all monsters you control. You can only use the following effects of Eternal Soul once per turn. You can activate one of these effects. Special summon one Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard. Add one Dark Magician attack or 1,000 Knights from your deck to your hand. Next we have Magical Navigation. Special summon one Dark Magician from your hand, then special summon a level 7 or lower Dark Spellcaster monster from your deck. If you control Dark Magician except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one face-up spell or trap card your opponent controls. It has its effects negated until the end of this turn. Magician's Circle. I've used this on Duel Links. Yeah, if I believe it's called. Yeah, it's Duel Links. I mostly use this because I built my own Dark Magician deck, and I mostly kept using this against and kept summoning Dark Magician Girl and sending Dark Magician to the graveyard. Because when a spellcaster type monster declares an attack, each player special summons one spellcaster monster from special summons a spellcaster monster with 2,000 or less attack from the graveyard in attack position. Next we have Miracle Restoring. This is what I do know. It's remove 2 spell counters from your side of the field, then target one Dark Magician or Buster Blader in your graveyard, special summon that target. Next we have Mirror Force. A card nobody really uses nowadays, so if you used it, no one would expect it, because it doesn't target and it's a perfect card to use. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, destroy all opponent's monsters in attack position. Magic Cylinder, another original. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, target the attacking monster, negate the attack, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its attack. And I've seen a few duelists in tournaments beat someone with that one turn when Magic Cylinder used to be around. And plus I've had my own little tournaments with friends, and 2 of them managed to use that trick to beat an opponent in one turn. So she has a Synchro Arcanite Magician, and this needs 1 tuner or plus 1 or more non-tuner spellcaster type monsters. If this card is Synchro Summon, place 2 spell counters on it. If this card gains 1,000 attack for each spell counter on it. You can remove 1 spell counter from your field, then target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy that target. So you could use other monsters that have spell counters. She's put links in. Binary Sorcerer. It needs 2 monsters except tokens. So she has looked at it carefully. This card gains these effects based on the number of monsters co-linked with this card. 1. When a monster co-linked to this card battles an opponent's monster and inflicts that battle damage to them, you gain that much life points. Okay. Once per turn, quick effect, and this for if you have 2 calling to it, you can target 2 face-up monsters you control until the end of this turn, half the attack of one monster, and if you do, add that loss attack to the other monsters. So let's say I go up against Blue Eyes, I target Blue Eyes, loses half of its attack, that'll go to my 2, and I have Dark Magician, 2 Dark Magicians linked to it there. They'll have 4,000 attack points practically, both of them. Next we have Akashic. I can't say it. Akashic's Magician. I don't know the pronunciation. I can't. So this needs 2 monsters with the same type except tokens. So spellcaster types or dark types. So I'm best guessing. You can only link summon this monster once per turn. If this card is link summoned, return all monsters this card points to the hand. Once per turn, you can declare 1 card name, exhibit cards from your top of your deck equal to the total link rating of the link monsters co-linked with this card. So those 2 would equal 4 if it was linked to my binary sorcerer. Then if you excavate any copies of the declared card, add them to the hand, also send the remaining to the graveyard. Right. Okay, it's a basic but interesting deck format that she's made. The reason I'm going to call it interesting is because it's mostly built for spell counters. And I can see the Synchro card mostly using this. But problem is with this deck, it's targeting based. And people build decks that stop targeting. Most link monsters, like Revolver's links. They stop targeting effects on spells, traps and monsters. But it is still an alright deck. It's still a decent practice deck, I would say. So if I was to scale that in GX standards to Slifer, Ra and Obelisk, I would give it close to I'd give it a strong Slifer, I'd give it like a decent Slifer rating. And the reason I'm saying Slifer, even though Slifer is pretty much the coolest one other than Ra, is in GX season when Kaiba made these academies, he made level classes for them. You've got your Obelisks on the top, Obelisk Blues, and they're like the rich kids who can afford and have really powerful decks. Then you've got Ra Yellows, who are powerful duelists, but mostly they're because of money reasons, but you can go to Obelisk Blue if possible. And then you've got the bottom, which is Slifer Reds, which are your worst duelists in the academy. But Jade and Yuki join, and mostly they're for academics. And when you start off in Duel Academy, you do start at the bottom, which is Slafers. But if your grades are higher, you'll just stay at Slifer for a bit. Let's say I went to Duel Academy and I was supposed to be an Obelisk Blue because of my grades. I'd stay with Slifer for a little bit until everything gets sorted out for me, and then I move into the Obelisk Storm. So I'd say that Slifer is an alright deck to use, but I'm judging it on today's standards, on pros and duelists and meta decks. It wouldn't really be that powerful. Your opponent, against a meta deck, it would most likely last 2 turns. 3 if they're lucky. But, honestly, profile it. If you guys want to profile this deck for me, I've already profiled it. See what you guys think of it. Tell me, I'd think giving it a scale to 1 to 10, 10 being the best and 0 being the worst, I'd say I'd give it maybe a 4 to 5, best guess. So comment on what you think. So until then, I'll work on some more decks for more deck profiles. It's the reason I haven't really made any more deck profiles lately. So until then, this is Sergeant Phoenix, over and out.